Evening all, have you seen the news? Hans is kicking off again. Hans, why do you do this to us? We guilted you after the Second World War. We thought we'd sorted this problem out. You're all going to be nice, friendly, pleasant chaps like the Japanese. But you just keep kicking off, don't you? From the Washington Post, German police fatally shoot gunman near Israeli consulate in Munich. The attacker fired several shots near the consulate and was killed by police. The incident happened on the anniversary of the 1972 Munich Olympic massacre. So you know what this proves? This proves that even with decades of indoctrination, you can't convince the Germans that it's not okay to take potshots at people that happen to be Jewish. This proves it. Decades of indoctrination and they still keep doing it. Why? Oh, hang on, what's this? Data on the cell phone of the man, an Austrian citizen with Bosnian roots, suggests links to the extremist ideology practiced by the regulars at Allen's legendary snack bar. Whoops-a-daisy, did I say you couldn't convince people to, splend in and not be awful? You couldn't indoctrinate them after decades and decades of education and indoctrination? I've changed my mind. No. Turns out, if you import millions of fighting-age men from some of the worst places on planet Earth, the second their flip-flop touches the sand on a European beach, well, they become as European as Jacques Chirac. Yeah, take an illiterate tribesman from the hills of Morocco, allow his big toenail to touch a grain of sand on a French beach, and before you know it, he'll be smoking gitans, quaffing fine wine, and doing a lubricated shirtless Congo around the local gay discotheque. That's how it works. Right then, more chaos in Europe. It's basically a daily occurrence now. You'll note the BBC didn't want to talk about this one, and the Washington Post did not once mention the ideology of the gentleman involved. Weird that, innit? Weird. It's almost like they're trying to hide things from us. In fact, I'll read you the Washington Post version of events because it's hilarious. Knowing what we know about the attacker to see how a former paper of record, basically, that's what they used to call it, the paper of record. Now, it's like the dandy, except at least Desperate Dan used to occasionally elicit a chuckle. The Washington Post is not fit to wipe your ring piece on at this point. German police shoot gunman. The attacker fired several shots. He was armed and it was near the Israeli consulate. Authorities assume that the shooter, an 18-year-old Austrian living in Austria, attempted a terror attack. Honestly, and that is all you get. That's all you get from them. An 18-year-old Austrian living in Austria. Yeah, he was angry because they'd run out of beer and bratwurst. Yeah, they didn't have any, so he was like, "This cannot stand." A motive has not been confirmed. The perpetrator was carrying a long gun, and social media showed a gunman carrying a weapon who matched the description from police. Don't wanna give us a description? No, it's just a man. And I mean, this is 2024, so maybe it wasn't a man. You're assuming his gender. Why don't you just report it? Bipedal humanoid carries out attack. That's much more progressive and tolerant and reasonable. Do that. Much better than actually telling us the news, isn't it? Officers spotted a person. There we go, much better. Person. I like that. They also said there was a parked car. Ooh, a parked car. Well, let's blame the car then. The incident coincided with the Munich massacre. The Consul General thanked the police. The German president said, "This is terrible. We want to express our joint condemnation and horror." As a precautionary measure, they cancelled an event at an airbase. And the Bavarian interior minister said Munich held its breath for a moment today and then thanked the police, as well as all the residents. Their cooperation was the reason nothing worse happened. And that's it. That's all we get. Almost like a feel-good story, that wasn't it? Cooperation, thanks, nothing bad happened. Nice one. And not a single solitary word in description of the bloke that did it and why he did it. Weird. And the BBC didn't even mention the story at all. No, to get some actual details, you've got to go to the Times of Israel. If you actually want to find out what's happening in this day and age, when we're supposed to be better connected than we ever have been in human history, you have to play Sherlock Holmes because the scumbags that run the show don't want to actually tell you any facts that are inconvenient. They at least told us some facts. The Munich shooter was being investigated years ago, as usual. bog standard. The Austria press agency says the man who attacked the Israeli consulate had come to the attention of authorities last year, but wasn't considered high risk. He was only going to go mental with a rifle outside a building in a public place. It's fine. He couldn't hit a cow's arse with a shovel, so it's not really a big problem. Yeah, cheers. Give him a council house, send him on his way. Happy days. Without naming sources, the paper claims the data and a game had been found on the cell phone of the man, an Austrian citizen with Bosnian roots. Yeah, there we have it. Suggesting links to everybody's favourite extremist ideology, those very reasonable adherents of Bronze Age scribblings plagiarised from the Bible by an epileptic, pot-bellied, illiterate midget. Into membership of another group that everybody knows is pro-LGBT and wholeheartedly supports women's rights and equity, according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And as usual, this shambolic performance just goes to show what always happens to be the case. The people that run the world know who all these people are. They're listening all the time. They knew when some blokes randomly burnt an effigy of Grenfell Tower in the back garden in a private group with nobody else, and they promptly sent them to prison for it. But they're not very good at sending to prison people who they know are desperate to murder innocent women and children. I wonder why. And it's the same in the UK, it's the same in every Western country across the world. I'm sure you remember the Manchester Arena inquiry. Manchester Arena inquiry, MI5 profoundly sorry for not stopping the attack. And there is a massive wall of healthy, happy, young people, predominantly women and children, who lost their lives because the globalist sociopaths that run the world care not a single jot for the safety and well-being of you, your family, your children, your wives, or anything else. All they care about is their disgusting, warped ideology. If you want to make an omelette, you've got to break some eggs, and your wife and kids are the eggs. So get used to it. From the BBC, a public inquiry found MI5 missed a significant chance to take action that might have stopped the 2017 bombing. Whoopsie. They're only kids. We can all make loads of kids. We've all got full conkers and plenty of baby gravy to throw around. Who cares? They're only kids. And just make more of them. Import another million Moroccans. Great idea. So that's what's going through the heads of the maniacs that rule the world. I joke about it, but that's clearly what they think. Because the watch list has about 60,000 people on it who should all be staring at four walls in a cell. But they're all out there. They're all free because they're too busy locking up 52-year-old grannies for being mean on Twitter. The people running the show are beneath contempt. To say I'm merely repulsed by the Home Office, the Civil Service, and people like Philip Rutnam, and Priti Patel, and Yvette Cooper, and all the rest of them, that does a disservice to the word revulsion. Did I say revulsion? I don't think repulsion is a word, unless you're talking about pushing something away. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is, these people are truly detestable and despicable. They know who all the terrorists are, they know they're one bad day away from butchering a load of innocent people, and they don't care. So, get used to it. Like I keep saying, what can you do about it? Take best precautions you can, tool up as best you can, and strap yourselves in and prepare for the worst, because if you think things are going to get better with the raving lunatics we've now currently got running Europe and the UK, and I'm sure pretty soon, because they're obviously going to cheat, out here in the United States, we're going to get the dumbest president in the history of the US. A woman who would lose a battle of wits with a cheeseburger, right? That's what we're going to end up out here. So as I said, batten down the hatches. It's going to get 10 times worse before it gets better. All right? That's today's news, ladies and gents. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you all tomorrow, and I'll be doing a live stream on Saturday. So don't forget about that. All right? See you soon. Take it easy. Toodle pip. Cheers.